This is another book about the beginning of school. It's called, Will I Have a Friend? When Dad was taking Jim to school for the first time, Jim said, Will I have a friend at school? I think you will, said Dad, and Dad smiled down at him. In the big classroom, Dad said goodbye. Jim didn't say anything. He didn't want to say goodbye. Come, Jim, the teacher said. All the boys were making noise. All the girls were laughing. Where was his friend? The teacher said, Here's Bill. He's a rocket man. Bill said, roar, as he rocketed off. Anna Marie walked by. She was pulling a wagon filled with blocks. Jim looked at them. Anna Marie skipped away. Jim went over to a big table. There were lumps and humps of colorful clay. The children were pulling and pinching and poking and patting the clay. They were making snakes and hills, holes, and a banana. Jim reached out and touched the clay. It was cool and wet. When he picked it up, it was heavy. Do you have clay at your school? I bet you do. Jim made a man, but he didn't have a friend to show him to. Now it was orange juice and cookie time. George said, I want to pass the cookies. Look, shouted Bill, I bit the moon. So did I, said Anna Marie. Can you see why he said he bit the moon? It looks like a half moon, doesn't it? A crescent moon. Jim thought of something to say. He said it to Joseph, but Joseph's mouth was full of cookies, and he didn't answer. The pitcher was empty, and juice time was over. Sarah was telling Margaret a secret. Jim looked at them. Where was his friend? Danny was shouting, Let's do funny tummies! Danny poked out his tummy and bumped Willie's. Willie bumped Sammy's. When they bumped, they laughed and yelled, Hello, funny tummy! And Jim laughed too. They're doing belly bumps. The teacher called, Come to story time. All the children came running. The teacher read them a book about a monkey. Donnie jumped up. I'm a monkey, he said. He put his tongue in his lips and he stuck his finger in his ears. Jim thought he looked like a monkey. The teacher said, It's time for monkeys to rest. They lay down on their mats. It was hard for them to lie still. Jim looked at the ceiling. He scratched his foot. He rolled over. He rolled back. Someone was looking at him. It was Paul. He had something in his hand. You see? When rest time was over, everyone got up. Look what I have, said Paul. He showed Jim a tiny truck. Jim reached out and Paul put it in his hand. The doors really work, said Paul. I have a gas pump, said Jim. I'll bring it tomorrow. Anna Marie called, Jim, Paul, don't you want to play? Okay, Jim, said Paul. Okay, said Jim. After school, skipping home, Jim said to Dad, "Do you know what? I have a friend at school." So it took a little while, but he finally made a friend. I think he was kind of shy and bashful when he first went to school, don't you? I think he wasn't sure that he'd have a friend, so he didn't know what to do. But he made friends.